I'm writing this because I'm completely raw and need to vent. I've been a long-time lurker, finding solace in shared experiences here. But now I find myself needing to actually participate. Yesterday was, well, it was a turning point in what has been a living hell, and I'm still trying to process it all. My divorce hearing turned into a theatrical display of deceit, and I ended up holding the smoking gun that exposed everything. My wife, 38F, and I, 39M, were together for 12 years. 12 years that, looking back, seemed like a carefully constructed illusion. For the first several years, we were happy, or at least, I thought we were. We had our ups and downs, of course, but we navigated them as a team, or so I believed. But over time, things started to change, a subtle shift that slowly eroded the foundation of our relationship. I began to feel a growing distance between us. It was like she was always just slightly out of reach, a few steps behind. Conversations became shallow, intimacy became infrequent, and the joy we once shared felt like a distant memory. I tried to talk to her about it numerous times. I'd ask her what was wrong, what we could do to reconnect, if there was something I wasn't doing right, but she would always dismiss it. "You're being dramatic," she would say, or, "It's just a phase. We're getting older." She made me feel like I was a problem for noticing that the life we had was becoming cold and empty. I genuinely thought I could fix it. I'm a man who believes in commitment, in working through problems, in fighting for the things that matter. I suggested counseling, hoping a professional could help us navigate the rough patch, but she resisted, claiming it was unnecessary, that we didn't need some stranger telling us how to live. I felt like I was banging my head against a brick wall, trying to reach someone who didn't want to be reached. I started to feel isolated in my own marriage, completely alone. Then, about 8 months ago, that nagging feeling in my gut became impossible to ignore. I started to notice her behavior, how she was constantly on her phone, texting, scrolling, always with a secretive look in her eyes. She'd stay up late in the office, claiming she was catching up on work. There was a nervous energy surrounding her, a subtle tension that screamed that something was wrong. I tried to approach her again, gently, cautiously, but I was met with the same indifference, the same casual dismissals. That's when I made a decision that I'm not proud of, but also I can't regret. I checked her phone one night while she was asleep. It was a violation, I know, but the fear and desperation I was feeling had become overwhelming. And what I found, it was like a punch to the chest, a cruel awakening from the comfortable dream of our life together. There weren't just text messages. There were emails, long, intimate, emotionally charged emails between her and some guy named Andrew, a former colleague she supposedly reconnected with at a work conference. The emails revealed the truth, a raw and brutal truth. She had been having an affair. They were planning to leave me, to start a new life together. They talked about how much they loved each other, about the life they wanted to build. The emails were filled with lies about our relationship, painting me as a cold, distant husband, a man who somehow deserved to be cheated on. They were cruel and calculated, a dagger to the heart. I confronted her the next morning, my heart pounding in my chest, the printouts of the emails clutched tightly in my hand. She denied it, of course. She told me I was crazy, that I was seeing things, that the emails were fake. She even tried to accuse me of forging them. The gall of it. I was shaking with a mixture of hurt and anger. It was like she was twisting the knife, trying to convince me that my reality wasn't real. But then, seeing the sheer agony on my face, the look of betrayal and utter disbelief, she finally admitted it. She admitted to the affair, but even in her admission, she couldn't take responsibility. She blamed me, said I wasn't affectionate enough, that I wasn't adventurous enough, that I was emotionally distant. She made it seem like I was the reason she was unfaithful, as if my flaws, real or perceived, justified her betrayal. The audacity of it stunned me. In that moment, I knew that there was no going back. The trust, the love, the respect, all gone, shattered into a million pieces. I filed for divorce a few weeks later. The process had been agonizing and, now fueled by spite, has become incredibly difficult. She is demanding alimony and a huge cut of our assets. She's claiming I was financially irresponsible, that I gambled our savings away, a complete fabrication, that I don't deserve anything. She's tried to paint me as an unstable and aggressive person, twisting everything I've ever said or done against me. The lies have been relentless, and honestly, it has been exhausting to constantly fight back against her attempts to tarnish my reputation. She seemed determined to destroy me, and I felt powerless to stop it. And then there was yesterday, the day of the divorce hearing. I've been living with the anxiety of it for months, dreading the moment I'd have to face her in court, to hear her lies again, to see her attempt to manipulate the system in her favor. Her lawyer had just finished cross-examining me, attempting to twist my words and make me look like a liar. They tried to make it seem like her affair was some kind of reaction to my supposed failings, and they completely omitted the fact that her infidelity was a choice, not an inevitable consequence of my actions. I felt utterly defeated. I felt like I was drowning in a sea of lies. Then it was my turn. My lawyer had prepared me, told me to remain calm, but inside, I was a raging inferno. He started asking me about the affair, giving me the opportunity to bring out my evidence. And I did. I presented the emails, each one a damning piece of evidence. My lawyer projected them on the screen, highlighting the most egregious passages. The declarations of love for Andrew, the plans to leave me, the lies about our marriage. The courtroom fell silent, like someone had hit the mute button on the world. It was a silence so profound that it felt heavy, suffocating. You could have heard a pin drop. Even her lawyer, who had been so confident just moments before, looked stunned. His carefully constructed arguments crumbled in the face of the irrefutable truth. Anne's face was white as a ghost, her eyes wide with panic, the color completely drained. For the first time, she looked genuinely afraid. The judge read through the emails, his expression hardening with each line. I watched as he took off his glasses, a sign he was focusing, and went through them again carefully, word by word. I felt a strange mixture of vindication and sadness. Vindication that the truth was finally out, but sadness that this was a woman I had once loved, the woman I had shared 12 years of my life with. After what felt like an eternity, the judge spoke, his voice quiet but firm. He addressed Anne's lawyer, asking if there was any reasonable explanation for the emails. Any explanation at all. The lawyer stammered, mumbled something about her being under duress. Perhaps this wasn't as it seemed, but his voice had lost all of its former conviction. He was clearly at a loss, unable to defend the indefensible. The rest of the hearing was a blur. I remember a shift in the air, a palpable change in the dynamic of the room. Her lawyer stopped attacking me and instead started to scramble, to backtrack, trying to find some way to salvage the situation. It was a pathetic display of damage control. For the first time, I felt like I was finally seeing some justice in the mess. The judge didn't make a final ruling that day, but I could see a shift in his demeanor. The impact of those emails was undeniable. He stated there would be a delay as he wanted to carefully go over proceedings and all the evidence. The lies had been laid bare, and the foundations of her case had crumbled into dust. I left the courthouse exhausted, emotionally drained, but with a profound sense of relief. For the first time in months, I didn't feel like I was drowning in her lies. I had spoken my truth, and the truth had finally come to light. I'm still reeling from everything that happened, but I know I'm on a path to healing. I just need to find the strength to take those next steps.